So, Take-Two announces new indie publishing label, Private Division. Do you want to take the lead on this, Kelvin?
Yeah, sure. This is a very exciting, big article from Game Informer. Kind of kind of like a feature on this new publishing label coming from Take-Two. Take-Two is 2K. They are their umbrella for 2K. Their umbrella for Rockstar. So this is they're big time. These aren't small publishing companies that they are associated with.
It basically sits right next to Rockstar and 2K.
This new publishing company will be exactly. Yeah. Take-Two will be right above them, but right below that, it's Private Division, Rockstar, 2K Games, and they have some other ones, smaller ones too. But this is going to be a huge step, and I think the right direction for game publishing. The game is going to really focus on this, as they've quoted here, triple I, so triple indie, instead of triple A titles, it's like a triple I titles. They're going to, this is I think the biggest thing, and I think you'll agree with me on this, but they're going to allow the developing studios to keep the rights to their IPs.
And that's huge.
That is, I honestly am a little bit, it's unbelievable how big that is, because we'll talk about it some more in a little bit, but that is massive.
It's huge, yeah.
For a game
such
developer.
A big deal. Especially, I feel like it's especially to the smaller, the truly indie creators, right? It's people looking at people like Bungie, right? Who made Halo, which was more or less at that point an indie title. I mean, yeah, they had put out like Marathon and stuff before that, but nothing huge, right? So their first big release was Halo.
Yep.
And they did that as a small company through Microsoft Publishing. Mm-hmm. And they never had the rights to Halo after that. I mean, every game that came out of it, and then when Bungie decided to break off and start making Destiny,
right, they couldn't break off and make
343 Industries. Yeah, so
exactly.
It got to that point where they were being forced to make Halo games. Then when they did split off, they still kept a subsidiary of the company, and they have that IP. So Microsoft owns it. Bungie doesn't anymore. It's now this thing.
And that's the norm, to be fair. That's the norm. I mean, EA owns the rights to Battlefield, not DICE. EA or it's just for everybody. Rockstar owns the rights to GTA.
Well, Take-Two owns the rights to GTA from Rockstar. Yeah. But looking at kind of the lineup, they've picked out 4 indie titles that they're helping back, right? And so what they're kind of doing is that they're keeping their big name background, right? Having Take-Two attached to your game, period, will help bring in talent. And not to mention, it will offer that big name support when you need it, even though you don't, right?
Well,
not all the time.
It also helps with like your marketing and your distribution and being able to make your game as available and as visible as possible. I mean, imagine having it Take-Two is really great to have such a huge backer behind you.
And they've got so much money now.
Right.
GTA has made them filthy
tons
rich.
of money. Yeah, they can do this because of GTA, probably.
Right.
Go ahead.
It's looking at some of the studio partners that they've picked up. It's really impressive to me that they've been able to pick up people like David Goldfarb, who worked on Battlefield Bad Company 2 and Payday 2 and never really got the chance to do anything on those titles, but he knew that he could create a game, he knew that he could run a team to do so, and he didn't want to go to another company full of 300, 400, 500 people to try and make a game. He felt like that was way too hands-off. And so even some of these big name AAA game creators have like stepped back, and they're coming in with their own indie companies to kind of create stuff on a smaller scale, something that's more personal to them, something that they don't just like give an order and then everybody makes it happen.
Well, also it's it's trying to be a lot more collaborative and a lot less of like the publishers want this and that's what you're going to give them. So EA is coming in and telling DICE, this is how we want Battlefront to be, and DICE has to do it. This is the whole point of Private Division is that they're not going to be hands-on. We trust you. There's a reason why we're backing you. Make a great game and we'll publish it for you. And I mean, to not take the IP from that, if they want that would mean that if that same company wanted to go and make a sequel, they wouldn't have to publish under Private Division. I mean, they would own the IP. They would own, if they wanted to make a movie, they wouldn't need to go through Private Division first. If they wanted to do all these things, it's theirs. And that's I'd like to hope that they would publish a sequel with Private Division, because it's like, oh, they've been good to us type of thing. But the point is that they have the control, and I think that's really great because it also means that they have the creative control over their projects as well. So you don't get too many cooks in the kitchen. You don't get all the fingers in the cookie jar,
Right. Because what they've really tried to do here is take a step back from the typical kind of structure of studios and publishers and developers as that relationship, right?
Right.
So they've decided to step back, and instead of being like, oh, we own you, we own this game, we want you to make it this way, they're saying, look, we don't want to worry about that. Okay, we'll help you publish it, we'll help you get it out the door, we'll help make sure that we can market it and all of that stuff, and give you guidance or human resources if you need them.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, they're there to be, as they put it, a light touch publisher. They don't want to label the employees attached to the projects in positions at their company. To me, it's astounding.
It's really great, and I would like to hope if they give these companies enough time. I mean, that's another thing. The reason why these other companies like EA and Ubisoft and whoever else have these 300-400 person teams to make a AAA game, it's not just because you need 300-400 people to make AAA titles. It's because you need 300-400 people to make a AAA title in a year or two, which is what they're doing. They're pumping these things out on a relatively fast basis, and then they're also getting to a point where they kind of are pushing to have like a year-long game cycle where there's constantly being content being pushed out all the time, instead of the more like, here's a complete game, play this game, enjoy it, and if you really like it and if it does well, we'll make a sequel to it. So I'm kind of hoping that Private Division pushes back towards that old style of game,
right?
Or game publishing, anyways.
So I'm looking here at their website, and just seeing kind of who's already been, or who's currently going through the program with them. Kerbal Space Program, I guess, has either moved over there or is. They might be a part of Take-Two, and that's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, I believe they're under Take-Two.
So you got Kerbal Space Program. They've got a bunch of new things. Oh, yeah, so Squad is the developer, and Squad made Kerbal Space Program.
Right, Take-Two Interactive is the publisher, which Take-Two Interactive is who owns. They own Rockstar.
Right.
They own 2K.
So it sounds to me like they've almost liberated Kerbal's Squad and let them kind of take this this route instead of continuing to push it out under Take-Two.
Right.
Which means they have to care less about the game.
They're just giving them a little more freedom. Right. Again, like we talked about, this is a good thing. This is honestly one of the best things I think we've seen in gaming, and it's a step in the right direction. We'll see after because they've got 5 games slated right now.
Four. They have four
Four
games.
games.
Well, five if you include Kerbal,
Include
which is already
Kerbal.
out. It's already
So-
published, right?
Right. So if you have, let's just say it's 5 for argument's sake, we'll include Kerbal. If these 5 games do really well, then the question becomes, do they go to a more traditional route where they're like, okay, we have 5 established, or two out of the 4 new ones are just explode, do really popular. It's like, okay, we get 2 really solid IPs. Should we just put all of our money into backing that, or will they keep doing what they've been doing and be looking for new and exciting projects to take on instead of falling into the Call of Duty, Battlefield, GTA, every other big IP,
Right.
big publisher situation where you're just constantly reworking the same IP over and over and over.
And
Assassin's Creed.
that's what I think this is. I feel like this is more of an incubator. I feel like when they see that people are going to start, trying to do sequels and try to do these like long-lasting franchises, either one, they can pick them up and put them under Rockstar or put them under 2K.
Right.
I feel like this, though, is their way to let indie creators have background support from a big name with the ability to keep their IP. And nobody's willing to do that now, which is why I feel like this is going to be really successful. It's going to give a lot of people opportunity, and it's going to allow a lot of new, interesting titles to kind of be created. And this is something we've been talking about over the past couple months, is that there's so many IPs that are just being cranked out and repeated, and this is going to break up that monotony.
And I think that's what I'm the most excited about. Is
Right.
like what you're saying is
This is
to see really truly new games that have had love and care and time and effort put into them. Like these are not going to be. Not that I'm not saying that other. I'm not saying the new Assassin's Creed doesn't have a lot of those things, but or any big franchise or any big IP, but this is the opportunity to get ones that are truly original. I mean, people who have got ideas and they really want to make those ideas into games, and this is the opportunity for them to do that.
Speaking of really cool titles, did you happen to see the trailer for the Humankind Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey teaser? It's one of the projects that's coming out of
I have not had the chance to yet.
It's from Panche Digital Games, and it's basically showing all this like pre-human primates.
Right.
It looks like it's going to show like the evolution of like the primate into like the human, and so you'll get to kind of play as these different stages of primal life. At least that's what it looks like from the teaser. It shows a little bit of like this like ape-like man kind of climbing a tree and jumping, and that looks like gameplay footage, because there is some like more cinematic shots at the beginning of it. But like that's the kind of stuff that they're looking for.
Unique, original game ideas.
The other one that has a actual video out right now is Project Right, or Project White. It's spelled WIGHT.
Okay.
And this takes your typical RPG trope of like dudes with pitchforks chasing down, a monster, and flips it backwards. So now you're being chased by a bunch of people, but you're a monster.
Oh, that's kind of cool. So it's like the Frankenstein, the like getting hunted by the mob, but you're the monster getting hunted by the mob.
Right, but it's more like you have claws and can fly or glide long distances, and I mean, so you're not like a Frankenstein-esque
No, you're like a
monster.
I guess.
No, you're like this weird like gremlin bat thing. I don't know. You don't see yourself. You just see a. You
Well,
just
still,
see
that
out
sounds
of the
like
first
again,
person.
it's a cool original idea, and that's what games need. That's what video game industry needs.
Yeah, and it looks beautiful
Yes.
so far, and that's like alpha footage.
I'll have to
so
check that one out.
It looks neat. And so that's like just 2 examples of what they've got in the works. Right now, they don't have anything planned to come out until 2019, but I'm excited to see what they do have and see it come to fruition and see what they tend to do next.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I'm excited to see what is going to come from Private Division. There'll be a publishing company I'm going to keep an eye out on.
For sure. I feel like this, if we're going to see innovation, it's coming out of this studio. For sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think there will be other studios that will have great stuff. I mean, CD Projekt Red.
Well, yeah,
to
because
name one,
they're like a large publisher, or they're not. They're like a big name, but a small company.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's an exciting time for video games.
Oh yeah, for
this
sure.
Company definitely makes it more exciting.
There's a full article over at Game Informer that I really recommend reading. They did
Very
a really
well
good
done.
job of summing this up and
a good feature,
and putting it into like readable context and explaining why all of this stuff is kind of so important and why developers find it so important.
Yeah,
there's a lot of quotes and a lot of like clips and stuff. So go to Game Informer and check it out.
We can link the article down below in the description of our YouTube video.
Yep, sounds good.
So you can find it there.
So, I don't know, anything else you want to add about that?
No, I think we're good. I think we've said everything that needs to be said about it.